order to record sound on these cameras, in your box you'll find this little VG10 audio adapter. There is an onboard microphone which is quite good for generic ambient sound, but if you want some specialised directional sound, then you'll need to get a rifle mic out from the loan shop and use this adapter. This adapter will screw onto the bottom of the camera in exactly the same place, in the same way as which you would screw the tripod plate. So you need to get yourself a coin and just start to screw it on so it sits onto the bottom of the camera. And attach the tripod plate onto the bottom of the adapter, again using a coin to tighten it up. Okay, on the front of the adapter you'll have this curly cable. If it's not attached, then you need to make sure you plug it into where it says out. Take this end of the cable and you can plug it into this red socket here. Once this is connected, it will disable this microphone on the camera and you'll then be able to use an external microphone. From the loan shop, a rifle mic and an XLR cable. The XLR cable will plug into the left channel first of all on the side of the adapter. So that's going to plug in like so. And then the other end of the XLR cable is going to plug into the back of the rifle mic. These rifle mics require some form of power. So in order to get power for these microphones, you can and you will need to put a AA battery into the power console at the bottom. So you just unscrew it and pop your AA battery into there and then screw it back on. If you flick the switch on, you'll temporarily see a little red light. Flick it off and it will go off. The red light will not stay on. It will just blink really quickly just to say that there's power going to the microphone. So that switch will need to be on. Okay, once you've plugged your microphone into the side of the camera, we've then got some switches on the back that we need to change. So we've got one microphone going into the left channel. Okay, so this is the dial that we're going to be using. If you've got two microphones, the other microphone will plug in the other side and it will use this dial here. So we've got a switch above the dial which says line or mic. As we're using a microphone, that switch needs to be over to mic. The switch in the middle is for mono or for stereo. So if we have one microphone and we want it to go to both the left and the right channel, that switch needs to be set to mono. If we have two microphones, that switch needs to be set to stereo. Whatever's going into the left channel, input 1, will go to your left headphone, and whatever's going into the right channel will go to your right headphone. You have a switch at the bottom here that says G2 and G1. That's for grounding. Generally, you need to switch that over to G2. If you find a little bit of distortion on the sound, then try flicking that over to G1 and it should remove it. Okay. You then need to get yourself some headphones from the media loan shop, which you then plug into the side of the camera here. Got a little flap. If we just flick that down, take our headphones, plug them in. In order to check your sound levels, if you put your headphones on, making sure the microphone is switched on and the camera is switched on, you can then set your levels using this dial at the back here. So I've got one microphone, I want it to go to both my left and my right. I'm just going to flick that switch over to where it says M, and I'm getting the signal coming through both channels. If I've got one microphone and that is set to S, then I'm only going to hear it in my left channel and not in my right. So I can use this dial to set the levels as I'm listening to what's being said.